thoughts. So how do you meditate? Well, let's think for a minute about the importance of having good diet and good exercise for the body, right? Because isn't it true that 5% of Americans are not taking 30 minutes a day? I'm sorry, only 5% of Americans are taking 30 minutes a day to exercise. So that means that 95% of Americans are not getting in the amount of exercise that they actually need. It's recommended that we get at least 30 minutes a day of exercise. It can be just taking a walk. Doesn't have to be vigorous, but we got to exercise the body. We got to utilize it, right? Use it so you don't lose it. Also, it's found that 90% of Americans are eating too much sodium and sugar. So what's the reality if we are not getting enough exercise and we're eating too much sodium and sugar? Well, doctors say it's not a question of if we will get disease. If that's the case with us, it's a question of just when and what disease we're going to get. It goes the same way with your mental health. It's not a question of if you will become mentally unhealthy if you're not edifying your mind and you're not exercising it. It's just a question of when and what mental ramifications you're going to feel. Is it going to manifest itself as depression, or is it going to manifest itself as anxiety? No one is teaching you this. In school, they did not teach you how to care for your metaphysical self. They did not tell you that you needed good diet and exercise for your mind. But it's okay because you're learning it now. You need to be edified mentally. That means that you need to take in information that's good for the mind, that's upbuilding and nutritious. So just like we can't feed on a diet of just sodium and sugar and expect to be physically healthy, you cannot feed on a diet of just pop music and soap operas. You cannot feed on a diet of OPP, that's other people's pictures on Instagram, looking at their lifestyle and comparing it to your own. You cannot feed on a diet of just base entertainment and expect that you're going to be and maintain mental health and emotional health. It will not happen. Entertainment can be okay, just like junk food can be okay in moderation. But you must purposely edify the mind. That means to take some of the free time that you spend filling it with entertainment and music and choosing to listen to information that's going to edify you. To edify means to build up intellectually and morally. So what are you listening to? Maybe we need to trade in a little bit of the funny YouTube videos for some TED Talks. We need to be reading books or listening to audiobooks. We need to be studying religious texts, or we need to be speaking with people and learning and searching for deeper meaning in life. You need to edify the mind. Feed yourself. But not just edification, we need meditation. Meditation is our mental exercise. That's how we actually use the mind. How can you exercise the mind? How can you use your mind? We're talking about purposely using it. Well, let's demystify the concept of meditation. When we think of meditation, people think again of these Eastern concepts. But when you research what meditation really is, essentially meditation is just thinking. It's just thinking. It's thinking on purpose. Just like exercise is just moving the body. Meditation is just moving the mind. But it's doing it on purpose. It's thinking in terms of, how can I utilize my mind and actually think about what's going on? So for instance, when we receive pain, metaphysical pain like anxiety or depression, that is a signal to us that we need to meditate and figure out what the problem is. Because if you felt stomach pain, you wouldn't simply say, Oh my goodness, my stomach hurts. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just keep busy at work. I guess I'll just try to ignore it. I guess I'll just watch television. When you have stomach pain, you address it. Maybe I'll try laying down. Maybe I'll try taking medication. Maybe I'll try researching on WebMD. You're going to address the issue. Maybe I'll eat something. Maybe I'll use the restroom. You are going to address the issue when you have physical pain because you realize the physical pain is a signal. There's nothing to be afraid of. It is a signal to you to let you know something is wrong with you physically. Likewise, the emotional pain that you feel, the anxiety, the depression is a signal to let you know something is wrong mentally. Something is happening up here with your state of mind that needs correcting. It's the thoughts, and you have to go into the thoughts deliberately. This means that you will get out of allowing the subconscious mind, which is in the back of the brain, to be your leader, and you will take the lead in your conscious mind and turn around and look back and observe your thoughts. That is meditation. To have a conversation with oneself. To meditate means to pause, to think, to ask yourself questions and arrive at conclusions. And just like physical exercise, we should be doing at least 30 minutes a day. This doesn't have to be a chore. This doesn't have to be difficult. Just 30 minutes a day. You can break it up. You can do 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night. But at least when you look back at the end of a day, you should be able to think back to times that you were meditating. Meditation can take many, many different forms. It can be the moment that you meditated before you made a decision or just paused before you responded to a question. That's meditation. Meditation can be when you actually had anxiety, so you sat down and you started to go deep inside of your thoughts and figure out what was causing the anxiety. And then you started to work out whether or not what you were thinking was actually true. That's meditation. Meditation could have been when you were just being mindful. Mindfulness is being present in the moment. So you were focusing on your breathing. You were focusing on the table in front of you, your physical health, the temperature in the room. Meditation can take many different forms. Now, some of us do a form of negative meditation where we ruminate over the past. So there's some mistake that we made and we just keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Why did I say that? And we're ruminating and ruminating over the past. That is not positive, constructive meditation. That's negative. That's negative. That would be like if you told someone to that they needed to exercise, and the way that they decided to exercise was by running on nails or tacks or something like that. It's destructive. You don't exercise in a way that's also going to hurt you. Also, you should not meditate on what's going to be damaging to you. You should not rest your mind on thoughts that will damage the inner self. You should meditate on what's going to be upbuilding to you. For instance, the information that you learned in the last motivational talk that you listened to, or the information you learned from these deep religious texts that you read, or the information you learned from talking to someone who is really smart. You should meditate on things that are going to be helpful to you. You should meditate on the compliments that you received instead of ruminating over that one negative jab that your mom said about you at Thanksgiving. You get emotional pain because it's warning you. It's telling you that what was taken in is damaging to the self. When your friends or your family members made that jab, made that slight against you, or made you feel bad, they made you feel worthless, it's damaging to the self. When you continue to focus on those types of thoughts, you begin to think, maybe they're true. Maybe I am ugly. Maybe I am fat. Maybe I am worthless. Maybe I don't have talent. Maybe I don't have value. And if you believe in those things, you will start to feel the anxiety and you will feel the depression, but it will become so much at a certain point that you may actually numb out, or you may use substances to cope with the pain. It becomes a downward spiral. All of that negativity compounds on itself. And I am worthless and there is no point to me turns into there is no point to live. There's no point to stay alive. Why am I here? What is the point? No one would notice if I'm gone. Now you're in suicidal ideation. And that suicidal thinking turns into suicidal action, and you start taking attempts at your life. So meditation is really a life or death matter, isn't it? So we must learn to focus our mind on everything that's upbuilding. Look at how things compound nicely when instead of focusing on everything negative that someone might have said, or maybe are thinking, or maybe this is true, or maybe it isn't, if you focus on the truth, but helpful truths, such as, you know, I work really hard. I work really hard. I'm a hard worker. I love really deeply. I have a lot of passion. I'm very creative. I'm kind of funny. Imagine if you keep telling yourself that for a few weeks, for a few months. What happens is your subconscious mind takes the suggestion that you give it. This is why meditation is important. You are informing the subconscious on what it should focus on. The subconscious mind is extremely, extremely powerful, but at the same time, it's very susceptible to suggestion. So when you tell the subconscious mind, I'm a hard worker, the subconscious mind looks for opportunities to affirm your bias. So throughout the day, throughout life, it will reaffirm that you're a hard worker. When you get that big paycheck, it'll say, you're a hard worker, and give you a shot of dopamine. It will say, you're doing a good job on this house, and give you some serotonin. It gives you all the good stuff, the oxytocin, those good chemicals, and you start feeling good. You're like, yes, I am a hard worker. I am smart. You start seeing evidence of it. You say, I'm beautiful. And you keep telling yourself that, and you start seeing evidence that you are beautiful. You keep telling yourself that you're talented, and you start finding evidence that you are talented in discovering your gifts. And then you can build on the gifts that you've discovered and build skills. Then you have more evidence that you are skilled. And then you start taking those skills and it all starts compounding itself. Now, financially, you're starting to see rewards in your life. Now, in your relationships, you're starting to see gains in your life. Now, in terms of your physical health, you're starting to feel good, because all of those chemicals that you've been feeding yourself are balancing you. They're feeding into a good immune system. They're feeding into a strong, healthy body, a cell building system, so that you actually have physical manifestations of your positive thoughts. You create for yourself a glorious future. Everything compounds on itself in this universe. So you must meditate, ruminate on positive thoughts, on things that are going to be helpful to you. I'll give you some tools that you can use for meditation, but let's first do a quick exercise here as an example. So grab your pen and just grab a piece of paper. And what you're going to do here is you're going to try to write your answer as fast as possible. I'm only going to give you 5 seconds to write your answer to this question. Okay. So get your pen right there above the page, and you only get 5 seconds to answer the question. Are you ready? Here's the question. You're about to get $10,000. What do you spend it on? Go. You only have 5 seconds. Write it down. What do you spend it on? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, put your pen down. Got to stop writing. That's your answer. Okay. So now what we've done is we've made a decision that's immediate. Now, I'm going to ask you this question again, but this time I'm going to give you time to think about your answer. You just received $10,000. How will you use it? You have 60 seconds. Go. 10 more seconds. Just go ahead and jot down a note of what you think is the best way to use your $10,000. So now as you look at your answers, your first answer and your second answer, what do you notice? Are they the exact same? For most of us, our first answer under pressure is not quite as sophisticated as our second answer. So for me, transparency, when I did this, I wrote down buy a car. That was the first thing I could think of. All right, 10 grand, 5 seconds, I wrote down car. And then when I had a little time to think about it, I realized that 10 grand isn't even enough to buy the car that I want. Making the decision instantaneously did not lead to me being wise. It mathematically didn't even add up. $10,000 would not buy the car that I had in mind. Maybe I could make a down payment on the car. So when I thought about it, then I came up with maybe I would utilize $10,000 to enhance my credit. And then I could not only get the car, but I could open up other lines of funding, and I could use those for other purposes. So I came up with an even wiser way of utilizing the money after I had a little time to think about it. Maybe you found the same thing was true for yourself. If you found that you were wiser when you had just 60 seconds to think, imagine if you give yourself 30 minutes per day. Imagine if you actually just take that 60 seconds before making those everyday decisions. The problem is most Americans are living within that first 5 seconds. And as a result, they regret their decisions. They regret their life because it's just first 5 seconds all the time. It's like, oh, what are we going to do? Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. The way your brain is set up, you're not made to just make all your decisions as snap decisions. You're made to make survival decisions as snap decisions. That's called prejudice, the prejudging system. The prejudging system is actually awesome. Prejudice gets a bad rap, but the prejudging system is there to keep you safe. You're walking down the street and you see a man behind you and he's got a hoodie on, and your first thought is, uh-oh, I might not be safe. Within 5 seconds, before 5 seconds even passes, you already have decided that you might not be safe. Your body starts sending you adrenaline. That adrenaline is going to give you strength. You can run faster with adrenaline. You can punch harder with adrenaline. So it puts you into protection mode. Your eyes widen. You start thinking, so that you're seeing all of your options. You're planning your escape routes. Everything's moving very quickly. All because of your prejudice function. That's in the amygdala. What's happening back there is that you have an automatic system that makes decisions fast. In fact, scientists have found that 1/12 of a second, your subconscious mind can make a decision. And you're immediately getting the chemicals you need. It's a fantastic system. Problem is, you're not supposed to use that to run your whole life. You're just supposed to use that when you're in danger. It's a survival mechanism. Now, most people are using it to run their whole life. Most people are making 95% of their decisions with their subconscious. Scientific fact. It's a problem. It's a real problem. This is what's causing spouses to murder each other, because they're making their decisions with their subconscious. This is what's causing suicide to be the 11th leading cause of death among Americans, because they're making decisions led by their emotions. But if you wait, if you pause, you can use the rule of 7 seconds. This is a meditative tool that you can use. Whenever you have a decision to make, you just wait 7 seconds before making the decision, at least. Whenever someone asks you to respond to something that feels a little bit emotional, you wait 7 seconds. This works because it takes about 5 seconds for your prefrontal cortex to light up and allow your conscious self to arrive to the party. Your conscious self is where your wisdom, your compassion, your morals, and your sense of personal power are all in the conscious self. That's you. You have to allow yourself to come to the party. You're the boss. You're the leader. The subconscious mind is the secretary. So the secretary's got to say, hold on, let me ask my boss. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Don't worry, he's on his way. 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7. And bam, now you've arrived to the party and you can start making decisions way differently. Way smarter decisions are coming when you just give yourself 7 seconds before responding. In your relationship with your spouse, if you find that you argue a lot, utilize the rule of 7 seconds. It will put a halt to the rhythm of bickering. The reason why bickering occurs a lot of times is because you're interrupting each other. You know why you're interrupting each other? Because you're going in your subconscious mind. It reacts so quickly to the situation. Oh, you said this. Well, I'm going to say this. And you said that. Oh, I'm going to say this. And before they haven't even finished their sentence and you're on top of them. And now you guys have gone off. You're all in your emotions and you're all in your chemicals. Give it 7 seconds. Let them finish what they're saying. Even though it hurts, let it burn. Let them finish what they're saying. Give it 7 seconds. And your response, instead of being like, no, you are irresponsible, your response is going to be more like, so what I hear you saying is that you feel I'm irresponsible because I don't do the dishes. Is that correct? Can't have an argument with someone like that. Yeah, that's correct. You don't do the dishes. You don't do anything around here. So what I hear you saying is, I don't do anything around here. Is that correct? Well, you certainly don't do enough. Okay. What I hear you saying is that you feel like you would like me to do more. Am I understanding you correctly? Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to say? Well, no, that's my whole point. I just want you to do more. Okay. I guess when I think about it, I could probably do more. What if I take dishes on Thursday? You can't get the argument to work. You messed up the whole argument with all of that thinking and pausing and that meditation, because now you're arriving in your wiser self. So utilize the rule of 7 seconds for better relationships and better decision making in your life. I'll give you one more tool to use for meditation. Actually, I'll give you 2 more. This first one, think mind, M-I-N-D, mentally identify the negative distortion. This is the technique that I teach my therapists and my coaches and doctors to use to help people to overcome their anxiety and their depression. Essentially, what we're doing is we're identifying the negative distortion. Mentally identify the negative distortion. What does that mean? Negative means harmful, bad, harsh. Distortion means untrue, exaggeration. You will find at the root of all of your anxiety, practically, is negative distortions. When you dig down, you will find at the root is negative distortions. These are just not totally true things that you're thinking about yourself, such as, I feel like my wife left me because I'm worthless and I'll never find anyone. That's a negative distortion. Are you really worthless? You're worthless? You'll never find anyone? When you meditate, you ask yourself those questions. You're mentally identifying the negative distortion. When you challenge those negative thoughts, your anxiety instantly drops. So mentally identify the negative distortions. Mind. Go into your mind. Don't be afraid of the anxiety. Challenge it. Why do I feel this way? Oh, I was thinking about my kids. My kids are moving away. Why is that a big deal to me? Well, because my kids are my everything. They're my source of happiness. Is that balanced? Are my kids supposed to be my everything, my only source of happiness? Wow. I guess that's distorted thinking, because that's actually the definition of codependency. You're acting in your wisdom. So actually, my kids shouldn't be my only source of happiness. I need to find other sources of happiness. My kids will continue to be a source of joy, even though they don't live with me. Now we're replacing the old thoughts with new beliefs. My kids will continue to be a joy to me. My children are great, but they're not my everything. I have other things going for myself. Now you're living a more healthy life and your thinking is more positive. Now we're going to focus on this positive part and we're going to take that negative and shrink that down. Focusing on the positive, what happens to the anxiety? It goes down. You change your perceived reality and you will change your emotional state. You change your emotional state and you will change your physical reality, which brings me to my last tool that I'm going to give you today. And that's creative visualization. Creative visualization, your ability to visualize something that hasn't yet occurred or does not yet exist, is one of the most marvelous gifts that you have as a human being. This is what puts us on that in the image of God level, right? You have creative powers. So you have the ability to think of something that doesn't exist, like a chair with 3 legs, and you can like start thinking about how to make that happen. You're probably already picturing a chair with 3 legs, a pink elephant. When I just say that word, you're picturing a pink elephant. Now start giving yourself pictures. Start picturing yourself with more money in your bank account. Picture the zeros. Start picturing yourself driving your dream car. Start picturing yourself with the girl of your dreams or with the guy of your dreams. Start picturing yourself with the mattress that you always wanted, with the apartment that you really, really wanted, or with that house that you're too afraid to put the bid in on. Start picturing yourself running your small business. Start picturing yourself running it as a company. Start visualizing the future. Is this just feel good talk? No. Athletes, professional athletes use visualization all the time. That's how they train when they're not training. When they're not actually on the court or on the field, they visualize themselves actually going through the motions. Does that actually work? Yes, that's why they do it. It scientifically works. In fact, they did a study where they had 3 groups. They had one group and they said, okay, what you guys are going to do is just visualize yourself exercising your finger, okay? And group number 2, I want you guys to visualize yourself exercising your biceps. And group number 3, you guys are just a control group. Don't visualize anything. What did they find? Well, the group that didn't visualize anything didn't make any muscle gain. Where am I going with this? Yep. The group that visualized moving their finger gained 50% more muscle gain strength in their finger that they visualized exercising. The people who visualized exercising their bicep got 30% more strength in their bicep for visualizing it. They didn't even lift anything. That is the power of the mind. This is real because your thoughts are energy and everything in this universe is created by energy. Everything in this universe is energy. So change the universe with your energy, with your thoughts. Meditate 30 minutes a day at least. So that's it for my portion. And I appreciate you guys being patient with us getting started a couple minutes late today. Now we want to open it up to